Hey, Diana Bryan again, your Headhunting Housewife. This is session 4 about getting clients for your home-based recruiting business. I just stopped that last clip a little short, so I didn't get too far off topic. It was about getting clients. And so let me pick this one up talking about speaking to HR, the human resource manager at companies. You'll find once you find the company you want to go after, who you want to hire for, that often that hunt will lead you to an HR manager. And I mentioned I played that role for many years for a company and can really help speak to you with how that call should look to even get you past that first phone call or have an email to get a response back. To give you a little bit of background, I always say whatever role you're doing here in life, especially, in business, always remember who you're speaking to, who your audience is. And that needs to be true for you when you pick up a phone or send an email to an HR manager. Back to one of my other sessions I mentioned, I think I was talking to candidates about how not to think that you're the center of the world. I see this with recruiters too. They'll be new and they'll call and they'll finally get an HR manager live on the phone. It's like your one shot to have like 5 or 10 minutes to try to get a real job order. That's what you're going to need to start this business, and then blow it. And just some basic things. I mean, as far as the common etiquette, like, hi, this is so-and-so from so-and-so. If it's your company, or hi, this is Diana Bryan, and I'm a recruiter in the industry, and heard you have an opening, blah, blah, blah. And just asking if they have a few moments for you, and just common courtesy things. Because keep in mind that when I was the recruiter, a corporate recruiter for a company, I had about, as we grew, when we were a small company, I maybe had one person helping me source. And then as we grew, not only did I have to hire more sourcers and researchers, but I needed to find other recruiters out there that could help me fill all the positions that I had. We had like 25 or 30 positions at a time nationwide, so it was too much for myself and another recruiter, even with researchers helping us. We really were growing very rapidly. In fact, when I started going out and hiring other recruiters, that's how I actually got, I think, the first seedlings of wanting to have my own corporate home-based business, recruiting business, because I started talking and learning them more and realized what they were doing out there and then how much money they were making. And that was, I remember, the first seedlings of all that starting. Again, back in the early, like 03, 04, 05 is when I was really into that scene more. Or actually when I was a corporate recruiter, I'm sorry, that was back to 2000. My business in 03. So back to 2000 when I was recruiting for Fusion. So anyway, you want to know that you're not like the only call they're getting. I would get calls, and when I started opening up and looking for people, I would put some calls out, but I would get just dozens, back, and most of them I didn't have time to mess with, and I didn't want to, I knew the importance of exclusivity even back then, and I probably learned the hard way with, at first, I think I opened a job order up to 10 recruiters and realized, what, if I just have a quality, good one or two, that's all I need. At times, I later figured out when I had lots of openings, I put quality, good recruiters on different segments of the marketplace. If we were hiring for GE versus IBM versus Agilent, we were doing a lot of hiring, I had different recruiters for each segment so they could really get to know the product and what they were looking for to go find the candidates for me, and also learn the different company cultures, which was a big deal. So basically, when you call that HR person, she doesn't have a lot of time for you, and what's going to separate you and make you different? Why should she give a chance? Most of them are she's or women, to open that search up to you, because even though you might think if you're doing contingent, which is what you're starting with, you're like, oh, why would they want everyone to help them work the job? Because it's free. Contingent, you're basically working for free to get it placed. But you have to remember, everything you send an HR manager, and when I had, again, contingent, which later I made them exclusive recruiters, and later even the good ones retained, they send you, my email would just get full of junk. I mean, they would just send me resumes didn't fit, and every one they sent, let's say I have 10 recruiters, they each send me 3 or 4 of their favorite candidates. Think how quickly my email, piled up with things, much less having to go into each resume, read it, then look at the recruiter's notes, which I didn't even do because I'm just trying to get to the nitty gritty of it. Usually until I spoke to the recruiter live on the phone to review stuff, did I even look at what they sent me earlier that week because of just the busyness of it all. So I think it's really important for you to see behind the scenes of the person you're dealing with when dealing with an HR manager. Allison Ottavik, I hope that's how I say her name, was a great HR corporate recruiter. I think she's still over at Hologic, a company that I hired for a little bit years ago with my company Salesforce. And she had a really good knack, I think, of finding good recruiters that she used exclusively for different segments, and that was a breast imaging software or breast imaging capital equipment that they were selling for. So And you'll learn different HR managers. You'll get to know some as friends and meet in person. Other ones will just be via the phone. But just know all of them in general, that's the kind of their life. So you have to recognize that when you talk to them. And you only have a few minutes of their time. Make it effective. I'll do other clips detailing how that call should go, how to help differentiate yourself. Some of that you have to figure out on your own or go to business school or do other things, read some books. I'm not going to teach all of that. But just be cognizant that it's really important when you get those 2 minutes with someone. That's your shot. Don't mess it up, because you can't go through over and over different companies talking to HR managers and screwing up your chance to get a position. So I'll leave this clip at that. This is finally one around 5 minutes about this was supposed to be session 4, but now we're like session 4B, as far as getting clients, and this topic was about talking to the HR manager.